Okay, so some of the little final touches, we've got the little area here. So what we've actually done is we just put a little bit of crystal clear on the end there. Now this stuff here dries completely crystal clear, hence the name, but it does really work well and it gives that effect of glass. Now it's what we were talking about earlier. Just clean the brush off a minute. Now I've brushed this on so it's sort of self-leveling, as you can see it in there, but I don't know how well you can see next to it. We've done some, too close, we've got some of the other little areas. We just dry brushed down the back here. Obviously the seat's installed properly, and then just down the back here we've got the aerials which we've been going on and putting all of those on board. We've also put the chaff and flare launchers all in there now, so it's starting to come together almost for the final reveal here. The other thing as well we've done is we've installed all the cockpit areas in. The only thing is there isn't much in the way of sort of activators and stuff for the hydraulics for putting the roof up and stuff, so it is literally a push fit as good as that. But as you said, it's one of those things. Little tip here, when you're putting on tiny little bits of photo etch, what you can do is use a thin piece of wire. Now this is going to be one of those things you're probably going to see like here, you can see. So what you do is you place it down, grab a little bubble of, you see that's why I didn't show you, can't really see it on camera, but you grab a bubble of super glue on the end, then you come along and literally touch it and it will flow around. To clean off the actual end of this so you don't get any build up, just put it in a naked flame and it will vaporize the super glue. But you can go around and touch it all in to all those areas for putting on all the little bits and pieces as you work right the way around the aircraft. So what I'm doing now is going around putting all these little photo etch bits in, so you might see we've got some more at the front. But if we bring this up to the camera so you can see it here, we've got photo etch going on the front and all around those areas, but you can see those mirrors, they're still drying in there as well. But once this IST, the trackable here, dries, it should give us that glossy clear glass look when that goes through. But you can see some of the other little veins underneath the bottom are going around, but we've also done them, you can see them in here in the lights, for the actual undercarriage lights themselves to give it that effect. And these are really the last little touches to go actually on with this one. They're really long term and fiddly of going around and getting them all placed in, but it will really add to the detail and the realism once they're all in place and fitted in. So we're just going to get those finished off. Okay, there we go. She is all done and finished. If we have a quick run through some of the things we've done. So obviously we've installed all the little photo etch parts onto it. We've gone along with the clear gloss like we did with the lights and everything onto the front little sensor here, which I think really works well because it is black in reality. You've got a couple of little bits of light in there, but it just gives it that glossy edge to it. Photo etch parts all gone on. And to be honest, they are a little bit of a handful going around putting them on because obviously they're photo etch and being blades and things like that. We've gone around, obviously we haven't armed this one either. The reason for our arming it is an aggressor bird, and I do believe obviously it's not going to be going around carrying weapons all the time. As you can see where we flat footed the actual undercarriage, he says, where's the other one? There it is. We haven't glued the wheels actually in position so they can rotate. So that way, if you wanted to, you can take them off, flatten them a bit more, then put them on and rotate them to how the degree you want. The front ones are done. We've done the clear gloss has now also dried in all these little lights and everything down here. Really, really looking nice. So that is really it. It's all together. Few things about the kit. Okay, it's a very basic kit and it's a very old kit, but with a little bit of photo etch and quite a bit of filler, if we're honest, we've managed to transform it from being quite a sort of plain aircraft. You know, to be honest, I did build this aircraft probably about sort of, I don't know, 10 years ago now, and it goes together okay, but you wouldn't get excited over the kit. With a little bit of photo etching parts and everything else and a nice resin seat to sort of wake up and liven up the cockpit, it's really come together now, you know. So you could get away with buying the original Academy kit if you wanted to, and just buying perhaps the extra parts that are available for it, like a resin seat, a photo etch set, to really bring it up to speed. A few things have developed since we've been building this one. Over the last month, you now can buy these nozzles at the back, okay? These engine nozzles are now available, Aries have actually released them. Sorry, not Aries. Eduard resin have actually released these as well. So they are a very nice set, drop-in replacements obviously for this, very simple to go in. Do you need them? Personal choice. As I said when we were doing this one, I was originally going to do it. The only thing I do like is obviously this new nose that we've put on. The new nose is really worth every single penny. We didn't pay much for it. I think we only paid about £6 including postage from Czechoslovakia. So it's not like it's going to break the bank, and it really does change the nose shape considerably. It gives it that more blunt look to it instead of that that pointy thing that it comes with in the kit. It's really the only sort of stumbling block with it. No problems at all with the kit. It went together fine, apart from, as we said, we really needed to take our time. Certainly this area where you've got the bottom part locks in, taking our time with that, taking our time with the wing joints to making sure they're nice and seamless underneath, and obviously these engines going on, making sure they're going in. Working through your filler. Don't think it's filler as you know, a nightmare thing and try and avoid it and sand through it. Work with it, pop it down. Things to remember: let it dry. Okay, number one, completely let it dry before you sand it. That way you won't get shrinkage. Number two, always believe you're going to need 2 coats. You're never going to get away with 1 coat of filler because you're going to get shrinkage back, or it's not going to be enough. You're going to need to get in there with a second coat to literally pop down, to really bring it together so you actually can go along. Work with different things, so perhaps using things like Mr. Surfacers, a great investment, as well as your putty, or as you said, you can make your own like I've done. You know, we've got our other bottle that we looked at during the build here, so don't be too frightened of them. Little things: use a drop of super glue, quick simple fix that you can actually just super glue it down and work around it. But these types of kits where you're quite complex with the shapes and the curves and everything else, that is the thing to it. The other area, obviously joining fronts of fuselages up here, you can see, you know, you can probably see it there. It's no problem at all. We've got no obvious line, but again, use things around you. Like there's a panel line that I put in after we did the sanding and filling. There is, to be honest, a tiny little bit of shrinkage in this. By popping the panel line in there like we've done here, we've now got around that problem, you know, so that way it draws your eye from it onto the panel line. You don't notice a little bit of shrinkage, and that is the thing. The other thing as well, the paintwork, obviously to make it old and distressed by just lightening the original colour and then perhaps darkening it, and you can go back and forth between the two. We did no post shading on this afterwards. We just used the pigments and the wash to do all the work for us, so don't think that you have to go around and, you know, make it look right. Just blending it in, using pigments as we did with this one as well, to go round again, to give it a bit of a scrub, to give it weathering, to give the actual model depth. So when we're actually doing it and everything else, that you can actually go around with this one and think, right, okay, we just need to knock it back a little bit, make it look a little bit worn, a little bit of black pigment, rubbing it in. Just remember to keep it subtle. Okay, don't worry too much about, obviously if it goes on, you can obviously wipe it away, but just try and keep it subtle. So blending it all together, going around it all, and as you can see, you get this nice faded, flat, dead look to it. So don't be too frightened of using things like washes and pigments and that to dull down your paint. It's all a thing. So we started really with pre-shading, which you can probably still see on the bottom here, which just gives us that little shadowing type of effect to all the paintwork to really make it look like there's grime in there first. Then obviously we came along with the wash going down over the top of the paint, and then some pigments, and just gives it that griminess to blend it all together to sort of give you that different muted thing with it. Again, little touches with it, like little aerials, things like that, really bring this one to life. The nose one, to be honest, is a bit of a nightmare, those 2 blades that fit down the side of the nose. So what I actually did it with a little bit of PVA glue just to tack it into place first. Then I went round afterwards and we did a few other little things with it. If we just bring you in closer, as you can see, going around and just doing these areas around all the cockpit and the things like that, it just really helps to sort of do it, little aerials, mirrors, stuff like that. So the little things you can put on. To be honest, the photo etch sheet, which is out the way now, has still got a lot of parts on it which I've elected not to use. So you don't have to use everything on the sheet. You can just go around and do the parts that you want to do without any fuss, okay? And that is the thing. It's been a fantastic build, really enjoyed it. We've done lots of different things with this one, and really I've been trying to explain all the different types of ways of doing it to try and keep it all nice and simple for you, so it's not too much of a problem. It's been a great build. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, join me again next time.